Hi everyone, it's Giselle with a message for today, and I just want to talk about how it's okay to feel neutral because even if you're not in physical contact with your beloved, we can sometimes get codependent on the energy that we can feel from them, but even that needs to be released at some point, and it's okay because people will usually text me when because I offer the service where you can buy questions and you can use them over a period of time. It's either 10 questions for £20 or there's a 3 for 2 offer so you can get 30 questions for the price of 20 questions. And so people end up texting me quite often with those questions. And a lot of the questions I've had lately are, why don't I feel my twin? What's going on there? Have they cut off from me? Why can't I feel them? But it's okay. It's actually relief. It's getting off the treadmill. It's allowing yourself to have some rest and allowing them to work things out for themselves. Because this used to be my problem too. I was a fixer. I wanted to fix everyone and everything around me, all the while neglecting myself, but I didn't realize that at the time. I thought that I had to give, 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 and that taking was selfish and bad, but it's not. It really is not. It's okay to take time for yourself, to take time to fix your life, to have a good life, and then to allow everyone else to deal with their own stuff. The one thing I've realized, well, I've realized many things, but regarding this topic, is that you cannot learn others' lessons for them. Just like others cannot learn your lessons for you. There are many things that I've had to go through on my own because it's one thing reading a book, but it's another going through and experiencing things in real life. All of the textbook stuff I've read, I would have been able to deal with things as well as I have had I not actually experienced them for myself. And I used to ask myself, because I've had a horrendous time at times, I'm not going to say I had an easy life because I haven't. And I know now why I haven't. Because had I only read about certain topics and not actually experienced things for myself, I wouldn't have had the level of compassion, understanding, and depth to be able to help other people going through exactly the same or very similar things. So, this is why we go through things. I don't feel I chose this role on purpose, but it was something I was always guided to help people, to guide people, because people have always confided in me, even before I started studying psychology, or even before I set up this business. As I was, even as a teenager, I remember being so young and people would just confide in me, people much older than me, which I didn't understand. I'm like, wow, you're an adult and you're confiding in me. I'm 12 years old. What do you want from me? But now I understand they must have recognized within me someone they could confide in, even if I couldn't offer them any help at the time because I was very young and not very experienced. Although I did already have quite a difficult childhood, to be fair, it hasn't been easy from day one. Um, but I feel that that's why people were drawn to what I could offer them. And that's actually now in hindsight, it's a good thing. And I'm happy to be able to do it because this is the path that makes me most fulfilled. I tried to climb the corporate ladder. I tried to be a success. I've been working in finance for the past decade, but it really didn't make me happy. It didn't fulfill me because I wasn't helping anyone. If I gave you a loan for £100,000, well, what does that actually do? Nothing. It doesn't make me happy. Yes, you can buy a house, but so what? It doesn't give you a spiritual fulfillment and guidance. And this is what I love to do. I mean, I've been able to tap into spirit ever since I was little and, physically seeing people who'd passed on. Um, so I knew that there was something much more for me than just climbing the corporate ladder and trying to make money that way. Making money is not a bad thing, but if you make it without any purpose, it's very empty and it doesn't feel good. And this is why, it's I think I got off topic, sorry. I've been talking about what I can do here for you, but yeah, the whole reason I've made this video is to make you understand that it's okay to not feel all the time. Because if I felt all the time, oh my goodness, it would be quite a problem. Because I'm already so empathetic. Not only can I, channel your higher selves energies and pick up your energies, you don't even have to say anything to me. Sometimes people just think of me and I can feel them without even texting me or anything like that. And so through that, I've realized that it's actually okay to take a step back. It's okay to not feel. If I felt every single person that thought of me and now I've got hundreds of clients, well, I would be overstimulated and quite frankly exhausted. This is why I have to cut off, and this is why it's okay for you to cut off. This is okay for you to take time out and not actually feel your significant other. And if you tried to learn their lessons for them, they would never learn themselves. It's like overbearing parents, isn't it? Where they try to avoid their kids making mistakes. They're going to make them eventually anyway. A lot of time it's just karma and it will come back around at some point for them to learn and be released. So you cannot learn people's lessons for them. And this is why it's okay to cut off your energy for a little while. You need some rest. You need some rejuvenation and relaxation. And if you're constantly in someone's energy, you can't have that. I actually experienced something, and a lot of my clients have notified me that this is something they've experienced over the past few days during the full moon. I experienced mine before the full moon came out. I'm sure it was Friday morning when I was meditating. In meditation, I'm always calm and always happy. But this time, for some reason, I felt a pang of worry. I know that's not me because I've trained myself not to worry anymore. And I know this is my beloved's energy. And it said something along the lines of, oh God, I left it so long. Why aren't we together yet? And this is why I realized that it's good to cut off, because if I was in that energy all the time, it would be very difficult for me, as it is very difficult for you. So yes, it's nice to feel them at times to get confirmation of how they're feeling about us, but we don't need that 24/7. We don't need to feel them all the time. We don't need to be codependent on feeling them all the time. So it's good to just let go and cut off and not worry that they're not there. They are there. You just don't need to feel it. But you know that they're there. And if you ever did want to reconnect, you can. Just send them a telepathic message saying, hi, I'd like to feel you because I haven't for a little while and it would be nice. And you will. You absolutely will. And it grows over time. The telepathic connection grows over time. One thing, excuse me, I would also like to mention is I noticed a great difference between karmics, just soulmates, and your true love. It's that most others will not be telepathically linked to you to the intensity that your true love is. And I had a false twin experience in 2014. And back then, he displayed all of the typical twin flame signs. And a lot of people I went to readings for, because I was just not sure what this was. And I couldn't figure it out for myself back then. I kept asking them, what is this? They kept saying, oh, they display signs of a twin flame runner. And I thought, oh, what is a twin flame really? Because I had heard of the term back in 2002 when I first encountered a very powerful soulmate and soul connection. But I didn't really understand. I thought it was something in the spiritual realm, like you were, a soul that has two aspects to it. And that concept I understood from back in 2002. But because I'd put the concept to the back of my mind, I never fully focused on it. And then when I, in 2014, tried to understand what this twin flame thing was, I was like, oh, so what? You can have this in actual life? Like, you can have a person here? Wow, okay. That's interesting. But every time someone brought up Twin Flame and his name, I just felt terrible inside, And you can tell the truth because your body isn't going to lie to you, your heart isn't going to lie. And my heart shut off every time. I thought, no, this can't be because it doesn't feel like a twin flame. And it wasn't because I didn't have the telepathic connection. I didn't have the guidance and messages. When I do readings for you, I tune into your higher selves and anyone else you want messages from if I can get to them. Sometimes it's hard. When people have passed away and reincarnated, then it's harder to get that aspect of them when they were that energy that if that makes sense. But your higher self is always there, and I could always get messages from them. So I work exactly the same way when I want to get messages from my beloved. It's always their higher selves guiding, helping, providing insight. And sometimes when you feel those worrisome thoughts, that's not their higher selves, that's their 3D. You tap into their 3D aspect and their 3D thoughts and their 3D fears, and you're like, oh wow, you're scared today. This is awful energy. But it gives you some insight as to what is going on. And I feel that I wasn't even connecting with him in meditation then. But the reason why that message had to come through is so that I can understand where on the path they find themselves today. And to give a bit of compassion and understanding, although I was just feeling neutral. And feeling neutral was actually okay for me. I did understand that, okay, so you're on this path right now and you need a bit of self-care to get your confidence, to get where you need to be, and I understand that. This time last year I was impatient and a bit annoyed. This time now, I don't need to be, because I know exactly where I'm headed. I've had too many confirmations. If you've watched my last dream interpretation message, then you'll know. This is real. Why would you doubt something so powerful? I've known other things in my life to be real. I never knew when they were going to come about, but they did eventually. And so I have to have the same faith, and I do, for this. Because this is real. I chose these 3 cards because I liked their backgrounds, how they looked, but I haven't actually turned them over. I think I will. I wasn't planning to, but let's do that and see what message comes out. Secret admirer. Oh, hey. Someone has deeper feelings for you than they are letting on. So if this is a message for anyone who's watching, hope that resonates and that you like that. What's this one? The past is now behind you. Release it and embrace new possibilities. A new path is now available to you. Follow it with faith. So if this message resonates for anyone else, then that's for you. And the final message, time. You were trying too hard. Give it time. Okay. So if these messages resonate for anybody, then I was drawn to this one. Let me just read this one for you. I haven't actually put it as part of soulmate. Your soulmate is already with you in spirit. Believe this and they will manifest physically. I believe that because I had this faith. Back in 2012, I knew there was a significant, I wouldn't have called it twin flame back then because the only thing I knew about twin flames is the spiritual aspect of having been created together. So I would call it soulmate back then. I remember going to a well in France with my family, and I could feel this energy. I knew it was my twin, the one who I know now to be my twin, but back then I couldn't explain it. So I made a wish into the well, all the while feeling them next to me, energetically surrounding me. and I wished for true love. And I just, 2012 for some reason was a very significant year for me feeling them. And yeah, it did take a few more years, 4 more years in fact, to meet. But I just knew. I just knew. So yeah, for anybody who hasn't actually found the physical aspect of their beloveds yet, don't be sad. Just as this card says here, you know they're already energetically around you. Just wish for them and they will physically transform and come into your life. That's what's happened to me. And why am I thinking this was 2011, not 2012? It could have well been 2011, but I also know that 2012 was a very significant time too. Anyway, it doesn't really matter because it still took a few years, but it didn't matter to me because all the while I was growing, I was learning, I was becoming more of who I am now. And some people find it difficult to grasp that they can't be together yet when they are still learning on this journey. Sometimes people say to me, I'd rather not have met them physically yet. It would have been less painful. But then sometimes you do need to meet them physically because you need something physical to believe in, if that makes sense. So everything happens for a reason and at the right time. Just have faith. And if you can't feel them right now, know that it's okay. You will feel them again. You definitely will. Hope this message has helped. If you'd like a reading or a healing or a love letter or anything else, you know, if you had questions and you didn't want a full reading, you just wanted to ask me questions every now and again, then all my details are in the description. And I thank you all so very much for watching. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.